Back with Big Trail and time to talk recruiting. Our recruiting insider is always Otis Kirk. Of course, you can find his stuff on Hogville, writing a lot of great articles for us. All right, let's talk about KJ Jefferson from the 2019 class, a quarterback for Arkansas out of Mississippi. Joe Craddock, Chad Morris were there to watch him on Friday night. 11 of 15, 209 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and he had 106 on the ground, Otis.
Yeah, he had a big game. It was for the conference championship. They're 9-1 now, going into the playoffs, and he continues to amaze. He's just short of 3,000 yards on the season. He's got roughly about 2,200 passing, 800 rushing. That's rounding it off, yeah, he's going to get well over 3,000 with the time the playoffs are finished. So there's been some games where, they're 9-1, so there's been some games where he hasn't played the full game,
right,
or he would even have better stats than that, which those are great. But yeah, it was he tweeted out that they were there and he put on a show for them. So I mean, kid that a lot of fans are counting on him coming in and being some help.
Able to rise to the occasion when the guys are there, Craddock and Morris. In the meantime, TQ Jackson, receiver, 5 catches, 111 through the air, 3 touchdowns. He obviously is committed to the Hogs. He's out of Texas, and there to see him the other night, Friday night, Jeff Traylor and Justin Stepp. Yeah,
and he didn't disappoint either. They're 8-0 on the season. They played Atlanta, and he's a big receiver who knows how to use his body. He can he's a mismatch for some defensive backs, and Atlanta has good speed on that team. That's always been a good thing. They turned out kids like DeCorey Birmingham, Randy Garner, and several players at Arkansas like that. And they're a team that has good speed, but he has speed, but he also knows how to use his body. He's got bigger frame, and that's one thing that this staff has been looking for: receivers with bigger frames and stuff, to cause some mismatches in the secondary. And he didn't disappoint. I think, they're a team that's going to contend in the state. Like I said, they're undefeated, and they've got everything that you want. They've got some good players other than him, and but he's going to be somebody else. He's another one like KJ that's got a chance to play early at Arkansas. All
right, Dylan Rathkey, an offensive tackle. Arkansas certainly needs to shore up the O-line as far as the depth moving forward. He is out of Baton Rouge, has an offer from Arkansas. He is 6'5", 305.
Yeah, they offered him prior to the game yesterday. He got to come up and see the campus. That's what Arkansas was waiting for, him to come up. They could see him. He's a true offensive. He can play offensive tackle, probably a true tackle, but he could also play inside if that's where they needed him. Very versatile, but he's got offers to Louisville, Colorado State, Kentucky. He's got several offers. I think he's got 13. I believe that was his 13th offer yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And several schools have offered him. But if you watch his film, and some of his huddle is private, but he's got video on there that you can watch on his Twitter. That you go on there, it may just be a minute, it might just be part of a game. It's not really his huddle, but you can watch his videos. And some of the camps he went to, he's got video. You can watch that. He moves his feet well. He's probably about a 5'2", 5'3" guy in the 40, and which is not bad for an offensive lineman. And he's one of the kids he's probably one of the best chances they've got for a high school offensive lineman. We know they're on some junior college kids like Meyer and Cunningham, and others. They've got a whole long list of JUCO offensive linemen, but he's a high school kid that's on the list that they offered yesterday, and I think, he might be the best chance they have for a high school player.
Other side of the football, let's talk about Cottrell Wallace, because he is from the class of 2020, and he has been offered by Arkansas as well. Outside linebacker from Bryant. Thoughts on him and how he may be a good fit?
Well, we've talked about him on the show before. I really like him. He's about 6'6". He's about 6'6", 200 pounds, 210. He can run. It may depend on how big he gets, if he moves down to defensive end in college or if he stays at linebacker. But he reminds me a lot of the young kid that's out at Bentonville West that's committed to Vanderbilt. That's who he reminds me of. Similar size, similar ability, and he's only the second player in 2020 in Arkansas that's got an offer from the Hogs, and the other one was Jacoby Criswell, who was up here Friday night playing against Farmington. Yeah,
talk about Criswell right in here to close from Morrilton. Criswell, 295 yards passing, and just what do you make of him in terms of his game and what he could bring to Arkansas?
Well, he's a dual threat. He's true dual threat. He's a lot like KJ in the sense, or like a Kelly Bryant, in the sense that he's a dual threat quarterback. Dre Greenlaw He's younger brother, Dre Greenlaw. Criswell's been hurt this season, so he's coming back. He's kind of got fresh legs now, and he's a kid that could come in and give them another option as a true dual threat quarterback. And that's what, Chad Morris is recruiting to that theory. In this offense, it's obvious they need a quarterback who can run, and you've got to have it. Anymore, there's nothing breaks down a defense faster than a running quarterback. If the play's not there to throw it, he can break it down. He ran for 47 yards on 5 carries the other night and scored a touchdown on the ground. So he's a kid that definitely is someone to watch. I've had him rated the #1 player in the state in that class, but Cottrell Wallace is another kid to keep an eye on in the future because this kid can play. He was at the game. I saw him after the game yesterday. He was standing there, I believe, with his coach, and he's got a good body. He's got a frame, though. He's going to put on a lot more weight, and that, like I said, that's going to depend on his weight is going to determine where he probably plays in college. Will it be linebacker? Will it be with his hand out defensive end or something? Okay,
you can't be right every time. Everybody knows that. But this man is right a lot, Otis Kirk, and he got it done. You said Torian Carter was going to make it here to the Hill and commit.
He did.
And you're right, man. You're on it all the way. And he's out of Mansfield Legacy. He committed this past week to the Arkansas Razorbacks. Otis, appreciate you. Thanks very much. That is your recruiting report. Pig Trail continuing after this.